Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 1, Don't Want to Die. Chapter 1 Don't Want to Die. Emperor Star, the Second Military Academy Trial and Assessment Site. Xia Ruo opened her eyes dazedly, and before she could look around, she saw 5 overly large beasts digging their hind legs and rushing towards her. Her eyes shrank, and a sense of crisis enveloped her. Wanted to dodge, but found that his whole body was weak, so weak that it was a little difficult to even move, let alone stand up, and could only watch the wild boar rushing fiercely. Suddenly, an arrow with a streamer flew from the oblique side and penetrated 5 beasts one after another. The position of their throats exploded in an instant, and the fishy blood sprayed on the ground. 5 beasts crashed to the ground one after another, and soon cut off their breath. Xia Ruo looked in the direction the laser arrow was flying, and saw a young man coming against the light. The originally dazzling sunlight fell on the boy's body, stretching his figure to look very stalwart and tall. He has short black hair, sword eyebrows slanting into his temples, a handsome nose, perfect lips, sharp edges, handsome and unpretentious, a pair of peach blossom eyes that seem amorous and cold, and exudes a kind of arrogance all over his body. He was wearing a light ink military uniform with sleeves rolled up to his elbows, and a small weapon that looked like a combination of a gun and a crossbow on his left wrist. Xia Ruo just wanted to speak, but his head suddenly seemed to explode, and many memory fragments flooded into his mind in an instant. Such a change came too quickly. Xia Ruo only felt that the darkness in front of her would feel like she would faint at any time. The crisis has not yet come into contact. She bit her tongue forcefully, forcing herself to maintain her final sobriety, and a very strong tenacity and desire to survive erupted in her eyes. The boy who originally wanted to pass her and leave, was inadvertently touched by this look. He stepped forward and stepped back, half squatting in front of Xia Ruo. He stretched out his index finger and hooked Xia Ruo's chin, making her look directly at him, and asked stubbornly, "Don't want to die?" Xia Ruo bit the tip of her tongue again, and a smell spread in her mouth, which made her sober for 2 points, and uttered 2 words in a hoarse voice, "I don't want to." The boy's gaze moved to a badge on Xia Ruo's chest. Department of Logistics, Xia Ruo. He read out the words on the badge and smiled playfully, "So you are that Xia Ruo." He took out a spray from his backpack and sprayed it towards the wound on Xia Ruo's body. The blood was quickly contained. Took out another potion and put it next to her. "It's up to you whether you can survive or not." The boy didn't wait for Xia Ruo to speak. He got up and left without any hesitation, leaving only a cool back figure until it disappeared. Xia Ruo breathed a sigh of relief, as long as she was given some recovery time. She comes from the 21st century. She is not only a cultivator of a hidden family, but also an alchemist with excellent medical skills and outstanding talent, who is very sensitive to smells and medicines. She smelled a very light fragrance on her clothes, which had a great attraction to the beast. This also means that the original body did not have an accident, but encountered a deliberate murder. The fragments that suddenly flooded into his mind gradually merged, and Xia Ruo had a memory and emotion that did not belong to him. She closed her eyes and sorted out her memory while recovering. This is a future world that she is not familiar with, where cultivation and technology coexist, divided into superhumans and ordinary people. The owner of this body is also called Xia Ruo. He used to be a supernatural person, but now he is an ordinary person and is studying at the Second Military Academy. The new book is the first release. I hope everyone likes it. Please support me, okay? End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 2, Very Good at Acting. Chapter 2 is very good at acting. The Second Military Academy will hold a 10-day survival test at a designated location at the end of each semester. Yuanshen and his teammates were on the road and encountered a group of beasts, but the beasts only chased after her. Yuanshen was thrown down in a fight and rolled down the mountain and died. She also became the Xia Ruo of this world. After sorting out his memory, Xia Ruo sat up with support, picked up the medicine on the ground, opened it and sniffed it by his nose. After confirming that it was medicine for internal injuries, he drank it in one breath. The pain of the injury caused by the fall from the mountain has eased a lot, and she is not as weak as when she first woke up. She used her spiritual sense to probe into her dantian to check. Found that there was a dust-sized seed floating in her dantian. emitting a dim light, white and black interlaced, and there was a hint of surprise in her eyes, and the fairy magic vine came along with her. There is a space in the fairy vine that can put wood-type objects. She used to put a lot of useful plants and elixir in it. Took out a fruit from the heavenly demon vine space, Xia Rua squeezed out the liquid in the fruit and touched it on the skin, a quiet medicinal fragrance permeated the clothes. This juice can not only cover the smell of the previous body, but also have the effect of driving away wild animals. Feeling the aura around her that is much richer than the earth, her dull mood brightened a bit, and she sat cross-legged to absorb the aura to recover. The next morning, Xia Rua opened her eyes, stood up and moved her hands and feet. Even if the body is not injured, it is still a little weak, and the spiritual energy absorbed overnight has only improved a little. If you want to strengthen it, you need to take a combination of medicinal herbs and medicinal baths to regulate it. Unfortunately, there is no medicinal material for refining this kind of medicine pill and medicinal bath in her vine, and she has to wait for the end of the trial to go out to find it. The original body is a space-type power user. There is a small space where dead objects can be placed. It can also be opened by using spiritual consciousness instead of spiritual power. Took out a set of clean clothes and put them on, she headed towards the mountain. In the first trial for freshmen, as long as they stay for 10 days and reach the finish line within the 3 hours specified on the last day, they will pass the exam. This is their 8th day. Along the way, Xia Rua met many students from the military academy who also participated in the assessment. When saw her, everyone looked at her with curiosity, pity, sympathy, schadenfreude, or indifference. Xia Rua ignored these gazes and continued to walk forward, not too fast, but distanced himself from these people. After walking for a while, suddenly an uncertain exclamation sounded, "Xia Rua?" Xia Rua looked sideways, and saw a pretty girl standing not far away, with an unbelievable surprise in her eyes, but she quickly recovered. She walked over quickly and looked at Xia Rua with a look of comfort. "It's great that you're fine." Xia Rua raised her lips slightly, and said meaningfully, "Yes. I'm fine." In her memory, she and Rong Meng had a good relationship, so she agreed to the other party's invitation to form a team, but she lost her life because of this trust. Seeing that Rong Meng still looked like a good friend cared about, Xia Rua did not show any strangeness. Another girl with an ordinary appearance also came over and asked Xia Rua, "We are worried to death, how did you escape the pursuit of those beasts in the end?" She added like a happy addition, "We've been looking for you all the time, and we're going crazy, but fortunately you're fine." Xia Rua looked at her with a look of concern on her face, but there was a haze in her eyes, and lamented that these two were quite good at acting. End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 3, Who Can't Act. Chapter 3 Who Can't Act. Xia Rua was sure that the two of them knew that they were being chased by a beast and fell down the mountain, but they just didn't expect that they were still alive. She replied, "I was chased by wild animals and fell down the mountain. Fortunately, I didn't die. I came to you for fear that you were worried." Who can't act? She wants to see if these two will use the same method to deal with herself in the future. If you continue to use it, you will suffer the consequences, and there are other ways to deal with them without her. Rongmeng smiled and said, "You'll be fine. There's only 1.5 days left. There will definitely be a lot of obstacles on the way to school. Let's hurry up first." "Okay." Xia Rua nodded. Along the way, Rong Meng and Zhu Jiahua chatted with Xia Rua as usual. "Xia Rua, have you changed your clothes?" Zhu Jiahua seemed to ask casually. Xia Rua replied, "Yes. The suit that fell off the mountain was torn, and I have a few spares in my space." Zhu Jiahua lowered his head to hide the envy and hatred in his eyes. Xia Rua can store things with space abilities, it's not like they have to carry a big bag and can't take them away even if they kill beasts. She moved her hand in her trouser pocket, smiled and patted Xia Rua's shoulder and rubbed it a few times. "Don't say, you look better in this military uniform than yesterday's." The school uniforms of the 2nd Military Academy are all military uniforms, with 3 sets of ink, white and blue. Today, Xia Rua is wearing ink. Speaking of this, Zhu Jiahua and Rong Meng couldn't help feeling jealous and gloating at the same time. Once, Xia Ruo was not only a genius with S-rank spiritual power, but also a beautiful woman with a good family background and a delicate appearance, and the male classmates she pursued could queue in long lines. But since General Xia died in battle and Xia Ruo's mental strength and physical fitness suddenly dropped inexplicably, those boys who pursued her stopped one after another. Even if they still existed, it was just for fun. Now, whether in Xia's house or at school, Xia Ruo has fallen from the clouds above, and has become a poor little waste who can only complete the assessment by their charity team. How envious of Xia Ruo they were in the past, how dark and happy they are now. Xia Ruo smiled, but there was not much warmth in his eyes. Thank you for your compliment. Rong Meng took out a bottle of nutritional supplements from her school bag and handed it to her. Let's go after a break. Xia Ruo took his fingertips and rubbed the bottle a few times before handing it back. I'm sorry, I don't really like watermelon-flavored nutrients. In the future, the food that the world usually eats is basically nutritional supplements, which add various elements and nutrients that the human body needs. There are dozens of flavors, but the taste is very general. Rong Meng was startled, smiled and took out a few from his school bag. I have quite a few flavors, you can choose one. Xia Ruo randomly picked out a strawberry-flavored one. That's it, thank you. Then he drank the nutritional supplement under the gaze of the two of them. Xia Ruo swallowed the nutrient and used spiritual power to wrap it and isolate it from the body. Rong Meng smiled deeply, picked two to drink with Zhu Jiehua, and put the one that Xia Ruo had just returned and the rest of the nutritional supplements into the school bag. Half an hour later, dozens of tall grey wolves suddenly rushed out from the left side, and rushed towards the three of them without hesitation. Ah! Run! Rong Meng and Zhu Jiehua screamed. As if frightened, they randomly attacked the grey wolf with their abilities, and then ran away in two directions toward the woods. The two seemed to be frightened by the number of grey wolves, and they were a little panicked. Not many abilities fell on the grey wolf, but they tended to drive the grey wolf in the direction of Xia Ruo. End of this chapter. Rebirth. I Want to Be a Student God. Chapter 4, Treat Others with Their Own Way. Chapter 4, Retaliate with the Way of Others. Xia Ruo also pretended to show panic and ran away in a different direction from the two of them. Rong Meng and Zhu Jiehua followed Xia Ruo as they ran. They wanted to be proud, but they found that most of the grey wolves were chasing after them. Only the two alone went after Xia Ruo. Really panicked. They couldn't figure out why the scent of Xia Ruo didn't attract all the grey wolves, but chased them. Is there something wrong with the brains of these wolves? Rong Meng and Zhu Jiehua are second-level power users. It's okay to deal with 2 or 3 grey wolves alone. Now everyone is being chased by 6 or 7, making them embarrassed. They quickly took out their laser guns and shot, but gradually start to get injured. Ah! Zhu Jiehua screamed, and one hand was bitten and torn off by the grey wolf that rushed over. Ah! Damn it! Rong Meng then let out a shrill scream. Her right face was scratched by a wolf claw so deep that she could see her bones, and she was directly disfigured. The battle between the two became more and more powerless, and there were more and more wounds on their bodies. In the end, they had to take out the signal survival device and crush them. A minute later, 2 mentors appeared and killed all the grey wolves, taking the half-dead 2 away for treatment. The other Xia Ruo ran to a relatively empty place, and hooked her lips when she saw this scene with her spiritual sense. The assessment and trial school did not want to see the death of students, so everyone wore a signal survival device. As long as it was crushed, a mentor would come to the rescue. However, once the survival kit is used, it also means that the assessment has not been completed, and will be subject to a makeup test. If the makeup test fails, it will be dismissed. The use of survival kits means that they failed the test and were attacked by the wolves to become disabled, and even the opportunity to make up the test will be lost. In fact, the original body was in danger yesterday, so I took out the survival kit and the laser gun distributed by the school as soon as possible. Unfortunately, the survival device was broken, so I couldn't send a signal for help at all, and the laser gun also had problems. The survival kit and the laser gun were all taken by Captain Rong Meng, and she must be the one who did the trick. If Xia is a stubborn person, what he likes to do most is to treat others with the way of others. The juice on her body has the effect of repelling beasts. Zhu Jiehua tidied up her clothes with her hands stained with the powder to attract beasts, and she was also stained with this juice. The nutrient she gave to Rong Meng was also deliberately stained with this juice. Then, he quietly blew another medicinal powder from the fairy vine onto the two of them with spiritual power. After the medicinal powder was mixed with the juice, the effect would change, and instead, it would attract wild beasts to chase and go mad. As for the survival device, she did not do anything, but let the two of them be saved successfully. The two of them will change from being a high-ranking military cadet to a crippled cripple. This is revenge. What a boring death. Xia Ruo withdrew her spiritual sense, and avoided a grey wolf that was pounced lightly. In her hand, there was a long sword with a very beautiful emerald green entwined with elegant flowers, and she took the initiative to attack. In addition to the space ability, this body also has the wood-type ability. This sword was specially collected by the original father and asked the master to customize it, and it fits her very well. It's just that the body is abnormal and the ability to fall, and the combat power is not known. These two wolves were deliberately attracted by Xia Ruo. One was to avoid the eyes of the mentors here, and not to associate the two being besieged by the wolves to her. After all, they both used supernatural attacks. It is normal to be chased by more wolves. Secondly, she also wanted to try her current strength. The physical problems were relatively weak, but she was not completely useless. Combined with her previous combat skills and physical skills, it should be no problem to kill two. End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 5, Getting Revenge So Soon. Chapter 5 Retaliation So Soon. As expected, she still managed to kill the two grey wolves under the influence of her physical skills and the previous absorption of spiritual power. But now compared to the past, she is really weak. The blood of the grey wolf dyed the green long sword red. Xia Ruo stretched out her white fingertips to wipe the blood on it, and a beautiful arc poured out from her lips. A good sword should drink blood. Then put away the sword, and if she glanced at a big tree with deep meaning, she left here. There was a person standing on the tree at this time, the boy who saved Xia Ruo yesterday. I didn't expect to rest here and see a good show. Feng Yan Taohua's eyes were filled with interest, and he came back with revenge so soon. That woman should have discovered him just now. She has a very keen perception. Doesn't it mean that her mental power is almost useless? The rumors are not credible. Xia Ruo walked a distance before sitting down against a big tree. The spiritual power in the body works and spit out the nutritional supplements that he drank before. Rong Meng added medicines that can make people feel weak to her nutritional supplements, and Zhu Jiehua rubbed her with medicine powder that attracts animals. Xia Ruo, who came from another world, is also unlucky for them. The motives of their crimes, Xia Ruo can guess without thinking about it. 9 times out of 10, it is the so-called Uncle Xia Shuhong or one of his children. 2 months ago, his father, who had been promoted to general, died suddenly at the border, and his mother had died for several years. The original body has just turned 18 years old, and according to federal law, he has full inheritance and control over the property in his parents' name, which is why those people in the family can't sit still. If the original body were to die in the trial by accident, those properties would be returned to the family, and the second military academy would also make up an admission quota for the close relatives of the deceased. Double kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Inheriting the memory and emotions of the original body, plus getting the cause and effect of the body, Xia Ruo will avenge the original body and live well in place of the other party. She took out a blood ginseng from the space of the fairy vine and ate it. Her body gradually recovered to its best state, and she got up and continued on her way. As night falls, it also means that the danger is greater, and violent beast roars can be heard from many places. Shiyu and Ming Rui were about to find a big tree suitable for hiding to rest, but a scent wafted out from the woods not far away. Shiyu's nose moved. It smells like barbecue, so fragrant. The more he smelled him, the more hungry he felt, and he swallowed. Let's go and see. Okay. Ming Rui was also a little curious about who it was, who dared to barbecue in the woods at night. Isn't he afraid of attracting wild beasts? As soon as Shiyu and Ming Rui walked in, they saw Xia Ruo brushing on the barbecue with a brush in one hand and something sprinkled in the other hand. She looked very serious and focused, and she didn't even look up when they appeared. As for Xia Roa, they knew each other. To be precise, no one should know her. It's really too special for a dual-skilled S-level spiritual genius to fall to an ordinary person. After she entered the school, she was also named a Battle Department Flower and was highly sought after, and they had seen her photos. As Xia Roa's hands continued, the aroma from the barbecue became stronger and stronger, making the two instantly feel hungry, but they actually only drank one nutritional supplement. End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 6, Absorb. Chapter 6 Attraction. About 10 minutes later, Xia Roa put the brush in a wooden bottle on the ground, and then looked up at the two of them. She drank 2 nutritional supplements last night and during the day, and she couldn't compliment the taste. In modern times, she is a food lover and never treats her stomach badly. Fortunately, she has the habit of collecting all kinds of plant seeds. She has received all kinds of seasoning seeds or seedlings on the earth into Tianma vine, and there are many ready-made seasonings after cultivation. So he killed a wild goat in the woods, lit a bonfire and roasted it, but unexpectedly attracted the two of them. Hi. Shiyu smiled and waved to Xia Roa, do you mind if we sit down? In my memory, if Xia knew about these two people, they were both important figures in the school. The person who greets her first has a sharp and angular outline, very handsome and a bit wild, and the current mecha line is very popular. Whatever. Xia Roa said lightly. The two walked over and sat down. Mingrue looked at the wooden bottle and the small wooden box on the ground and asked, is this a condiment? He wears gold-rimmed glasses, his appearance is handsome and elegant, and his gentleness is easier to make people feel good about. Xia Roa nodded, well, the wooden bottle is honey, and the small box is barbecue seasoning. This person is the head of the freshman command department. It is said that he is an intelligent genius with extraordinary combat power and is very popular in the school. Honey. That kind of unpalatable stuff can still be used for barbecue. Shiyu raised his eyebrows. Xia Roa knew what he meant by unpalatable. Many plants in this world are planted by wood-type abilities, and are also known as cultivation ingredients. Vegetables and fruits have a bad taste after being mutated and cultivated. The bees collected the mutated flowers, and the taste is also very bitter. However, although these vegetables and fruits have a bad taste, they contain a variety of vitamins and minerals necessary for the human body and other nutrients, so they are the main materials for the manufacture of nutritional supplements. There are also normal plants or vegetables and fruits like the earth, which are called native ingredients, but it is very difficult to grow, so the quantity is relatively small and the price is very expensive. These honeys were stored in the fairy vines by Xia Roa before, and they tasted very delicious when used for roasting meat. She hadn't spoken yet. Ming Rui heard one first and said, this shouldn't be the kind of honey sold in supermarkets, right? Cultivated ingredients are sold in supermarkets, and some poor people will buy them back for cooking. The reason why they knew the taste of honey was that they encountered it when they were training in the wild before, and someone brought it to taste it. Xia Roa nodded, this is honey produced by collecting native flowers, and the taste is very different from the supermarket. Seeing that the roasted meat was almost cooked, she took out a small dagger from the space and cut the roasted golden lamb on a plate. Fork a piece and put it in your mouth, the honey and seasonings are already delicious, the outside is crispy and the inside is tender and delicious. Seeing Xia Roa's eyebrows dyed with a joy of enjoying food, and smelling the fragrance of the cut mutton, Shiyu couldn't help swallowing. That. He endured it for a while, feeling the saliva in his mouth was secreting so much. He coughed dryly and asked, do you sell this barbecue? Xia Roa chuckled and asked, do you want to eat? Yeah. It smells pretty good, I want to try it. Shiyu nodded. Xia Roa shaved 2 plates of roast meat with a dagger and handed them to the two of them, please eat. Both of them are famous figures in the school, and their family backgrounds are relatively strong. There is no harm in making good friends with some meat. Maybe they can be used in the future. End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 7, Too Delicious. Chapter 7 is so delicious. Thanks then. Shiyu was not hypocritical, took it over and couldn't wait to take a fork and put it in his mouth. Then he widened his eyes and chewed it quickly, forked several pieces one after another and swallowed. It's so delicious. Seeing this, Ming Rui also forked a piece and put it into his mouth to chew and taste. After the first piece of meat was eaten, his eyes brightened, and he forked another piece. The speed of chewing and swallowing was much faster than before, and he also showed an expression of enjoyment. Soon the two of them finished eating a plate of grilled meat, and Shiyu kept staring at the remaining grilled meat on the shelf. This is the most delicious grilled meat I have ever eaten. When they usually have family dinners or family gatherings, the chefs at home will use raw ingredients to cook and roast mutton, but the taste is like heaven and earth compared to this. He used to think that it was delicious, but now that he has eaten this, he thinks that it is junk food. Xia Ruo's body is relatively weak, and it is difficult to absorb it after eating too much barbecue. Seeing Shiyu staring at the barbecue, he handed over the dagger in his hand. Hurry up, I'm done. Shiyu took the dagger with a smile, and roughly cut the remaining roast lamb into plates. Then we're welcome. Ming Rui ate the barbecue slowly and said with a smile, the taste of this barbecue is very special and tender, and the fishy smell of the mutton is also handled very well. Is the excellent taste the reason for the seasoning? He looked at some unwanted meat and offal, etc. not far away. Before roasting the mutton, you should have treated it with special methods. In the past, when the nutrients they brought in the field were not enough, they also grilled meat, but the taste was really indescribable. Xia Ruo raised his head and said, I made the mutton fishy before, and I chose a tender place for the meat quality, but it is indeed the addition of these seasonings that makes the barbecue delicious. The meat quality of wild animals in this world is still good as long as they have been processed, but they lack all kinds of seasonings and many cooking methods. In addition, nutrients are mainstream food, and the food culture is relatively backward. Shiyu and Ming Rui quickly ate the rest of the barbecue, with a feeling of unfinished business. Shiyu became curious about the honey on the ground. Can I have a taste of that? Xia Ruo handed the wooden bottle over. Yes. Shiyu dug out a spoonful of honey and put it in his mouth. His eyes instantly lit up again. This honey has a very special taste. Not only is it not bitter, but it also has an aromatic sweetness. The taste is soft and delicate. It tastes so good. Then he dug out another spoonful and handed it to Ming Rui. You can taste it, the taste is so good. You eat your own. Ming Rui avoided it with disgust, and dipped a little with his fork to taste. It's really different. Shiyu pouted and ate all the remaining honey. After eating, he felt embarrassed and said to Xia Ruo, sorry, I accidentally ate all of them. It's okay. Xia Ruo's eyes flashed with brilliance. It seems that raw ingredients are very popular here, and she can start from this point. Shiyu's mouth was full of aftertastes, and he slammed his mouth to ask, Xia Ruo, do you still have this honey? Can you sell it to me? This stuff is delicious for roasting meat. It should also be good for soaking in water or making other food. Her mother probably likes it too. He wants to buy some and go back to honor it. Xia Ruo shook his head. I only have as much honey left as I just collected. End of this chapter. Rebirth. I want to be a student god. Chapter 8, Other People's Children. Chapter 8, The Children of Others. There are actually some in the immortal demon vine, which are rare and expensive, and Xia Ruo is not going to sell them. Shiyu smiled regretfully. Okay, if you collect and want to sell in the future, you can always find me. You can also come to me if you want to exchange honey for other things. Okay. Xia Ruo nodded. Shiyu took the initiative to exchange contact terminal numbers with Xia Ruo. After a while, Shiyu and Ming Rui chatted. Shiyu said, the boss doesn't know where to go, tomorrow is the last day of the assessment. Ming Rui glanced at him, he will definitely arrive, you don't have to worry about it. Hey. I always feel that the boss has been working too hard recently. The doctors and pharmacists in the Federation are really useless. They actually said that the boss's mental strength is hopeless, and the publicity is known to the whole people. It's just fart. In Shiyu's heart, his boss always be the strongest. Ming Rui pushed the glasses on the bridge of his nose, hiding the worries in his eyes. There is definitely a chance to recover. Shiyu suddenly remembered that Xia Ruo's mental strength also had problems, and comforted her, yours may also recover one day. Xia Rua had a confident look on her face. Well, I will recover. Mental strength and physical quality are the key factors that distinguish the psychic from ordinary people in this world. Both are divided into F, E, D, C, B, A, S grades. Only those who have reached C grade have the opportunity to awaken their abilities. At the age of 10, the original body was tested to be S rank in mental power and A in physical fitness. He also awakened wood-type abilities and rare space abilities one after another. He was once known as a genius. Father died suddenly in battle, she couldn't bear the blow and fainted and woke up, her mental strength and physical fitness both dropped to D rank, and her abilities dropped from rank 3 to rank 1. It's no secret. In the second military academy, besides Xia Rua, there was also a problem with the S-level mental power of one person. The boss you said is Feng Yan. Feng Yan, the third son of the head of the family, the unanimous heir of the Federation's First Legion, the Federation's double S-level mental strength and physical strength, and a peerless genius who awakened 3-line abilities. He started to fight at the age of 13 and made many military exploits. When he entered the second military academy at the age of 18, he was already a 5th-level ability user. In the battle on the border more than 2 months ago, Feng Yan also went to participate. In order to save a few trapped generals, he entered the encirclement of the Zerg alone, and miraculously rescued the people. However, when he broke through the encirclement, he was hit by the venom of a bug king, which caused his mental power to be suppressed by the venom and could no longer be used. The mental power cannot be used, which means that the mecha can no longer be driven, and it is difficult for the ability to exert the power of the corresponding level, which means that the whole person is useless. If it were someone else in such a situation, it would probably have been decadent or resigned. Feng Yan did not give up, and his mental power could not be used, so he switched from the mecha type to the combat type, continuously improving his physical fitness and tempering his physical strength. His mother came from the oldest countess family in the Federation, and he began to learn to fight with the most primitive martial arts. Last month, he used no power to defeat a 4th-level power user in the school, which shocked all the teachers and students of the school. This is an inspirational winner in life. Shiyu is not surprised that Xia Rua knows that their boss is Feng Yan, and she puffs out her chest proudly. Yes. We are brothers who played together from childhood to adulthood. He has been the king since he was a child, and he is the focus wherever he goes. It's the kind of kid from someone else's family. End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 9, She is Not Simple. Chapter 9 She's Not Simple. After he has changed departments now, you two are in the same department. Shiyu knew that Xia Rua was from the combat department. Xia Rua shook his head. No, I have already transferred to the logistics department. Half a year ago, Yuanshan was admitted to the combat department of the second military academy by his own ability. Now his mental strength and physical fitness level have fallen to the level of double C, which is the minimum threshold for entering the school gate. For the sake of her father's military exploits, she opened the back door and transferred her to the logistics department. After she transferred to the logistics department, Feng Yan transferred to the combat department, so they did not meet. However, the original body admired Feng Yan very much. He often followed his news on the school website and hoped to be an inspirational person like him, but unfortunately he was killed before he could achieve it. Xia Rua took a deep breath. She would help her fulfill all the last wishes of the original body. The reason why she was so impressed with Feng Yan was not only her original memory, but also because the boy who rescued her that day happened to be Feng Yan. That's really a pity, you should get to know him. Shiyu smiled and said something about Feng Yan's more powerful deeds, and Ming Rui occasionally said a few words. Obviously, the two have a good relationship with Feng Yan, and they respect each other very much. Xia Rua listened to them quietly and remembered them all. She owes Feng Yan a favor, so it would be better to know more. The woods at night are more dangerous. Using tents or sleeping on the spot may be attacked by wild beasts. The three of them jumped on trees to sleep and rest at night. Xia Rua opened his eyes when the sky was slightly bright, jumped off the big tree and hurried towards the destination. After absorbing the spiritual energy for 2 days, coupled with the effect of blood ginseng, she finally felt that the spiritual energy in her body could form a cycle, her body was not so empty, and she still had some remaining energy stored in her dantian. After Xia Ruo left, Ming Rui and Shiyu opened their eyes one after another. Shiyu was a little surprised, she actually left alone. With her current mental strength and physical fitness, I'm afraid there is no hope to pass the last level. Do you think she would join us because she invited us to eat barbecue last night? Ming Rui raised his eyebrows. Shiyu shrugged, I really thought so. I was going to take her with me because of the delicious barbecue yesterday and her beauty. Who knew she was so personable and strong? Ming Rui's eyes flashed and he pushed the eyes on the bridge of his nose. Genius does not need sympathy from others, she has her own pride. Besides, she's not simple. He paused and said, yesterday she killed wild sheep here and roasted them. The smell of blood and fragrance will definitely attract the wild animals, but last night was very quiet. Do you think it was a coincidence? Shiyu is relatively large. If not. Ming Rui walked not far away, bent down and pulled up a clump of grass from the ground. If I guess correctly, the liquid dried on the grass has the effect of repelling wild animals. Shiyu walked over and took a closer look. Sure enough, he found that there was such a liquid in the grass around the bonfire. Really, is she still a pharmacist? Never heard of it. Ming Rui glanced at him. Don't forget who her mother is, even if she is not a pharmacist, she should be familiar with pharmacology. That's right, no wonder she dared to barbecue in the forest at night, she had already prepared enough. End of this chapter. Rebirth, I Want to Be a Student God Chapter 10, Against. Chapter 10-4. Shiyu knew that Xia Ruo's mother was born in a very ancient family of ancient doctors. She was a senior pharmacist in the Federation. She also studied and refined medicines to improve her physique. She had made a lot of contributions to the Federation, but it was a pity that she fell too early. Let's go. In the final assessment, if she is struggling or has problems, we will help in secret. Ming Rui's first impression of Xia Ruo was not bad. Shiyu nodded, I think so too. The other side. Xia Ruo quickly walked out of the woods and walked to an open space. There are students waiting for the last part of the sprint. Only after successfully passing through the wooden house with a military flag at the front can be considered qualified. Went to a remote corner and waited quietly. Xia Ruo suddenly felt a hostile gaze fell on her. She raised her head and looked over. In the crowd not far away, a handsome young man with a femininity was looking at him with a complex look of surprise and disgust. After she looked over, the young man was slightly startled, and immediately withdrew his gaze, and looked at other people as if nothing had happened, as if it was just an illusion. Xia Ruo frowned. In her memory, she didn't know this young man, but the other party seemed to have known her for a long time. She also hid an indescribable resentment, like a cold and brooding poisonous snake. She couldn't help but be vigilant. A few points. Xia Ruo used to be a well-known figure in school, and her aura of genius flower made her attract attention wherever she went. Many people also saw her standing quietly in the corner and whispered. Xia Ruo actually rushed here, isn't she already crippled? I heard that the two people in her group were unlucky enough to be injured by the wolves and dropped out of the assessment. She actually lived in peace with each other. Wouldn't she run away with others as a backstop? It's not impossible, but she's so useless now that no teammates want to pass the assessment, so I don't have much hope. Shouldn't she be persuaded to quit? I haven't gone through the back door yet, otherwise how could the school transfer her to the logistics department? Mental strength and physical fitness have dropped below C rank. I'm too embarrassed to continue to stay in school, but I have already voluntarily dropped out of school. There are many people who are full of sourness, but there are also some more upright students in the military academy who disdain to join in. Don't forget her mother's previous contribution to the federal pharmacy cause. Her father also sacrificed to protect the people's retreat, so please respect others. Xia Ruo's mental power has fallen sharply, but her soul power is very strong now. She listened to what these people said, and her eyes stayed on the person who told her to drop out of school for 2 seconds. People arrived here one after another, and about an hour later, a broadcast sounded. It's the countdown to the assessment, everyone, please get ready, and the sprint will officially start in 10 minutes. After the announcement stopped, the roar of the beast sounded, and it sounded that the number was not unusual. When the countdown reached the last second, everyone suddenly felt that the ground seemed to tremble, and the wild beasts rushed straight towards where the students were, as if they had escaped from their cages and returned to nature. "Oh my God! There are so many beasts, the school's tutor is crazy. The assessment for freshmen is the same every year. What we encounter now is only beasts. In the future, we will have to deal with mutant beasts and Zerg. If we can't pass these, how can we enter the military to kill the enemy in the future? We still have a chance, but for some people who are single and become useless, I'm afraid they have to avoid or give up the sprint." The boy who was hostile to Xia Roa before pointed at her with deep meaning. "Take aim. Yeah. In fact, it is better for some people to withdraw from the military academy voluntarily, so as not to be embarrassed. If you don't quit now, going to the military to serve on the battlefield in the future will also be a dead end. You have to drag others down, and you have no self-consciousness at all. She should go home and wait to get married and have children. This is not the place where waste materials should come." A few people next to the boy echoed in vain, targeting Xia Roa very much. The new book is looking for a recommendation ticket and a comment. I love you. End of this chapter.